Anna Sabramowitz, and you may notice I'm holding a cute little doggy. His name is Mr. Darcy. This is my workmate. He's my feel-good ambassador. Okay, I'm gonna let him go now. I wasn't gonna do this whole outline for you for how to build a scenario with a little chihuahua in my hands. That's maybe next time. All right, so welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. This is awesome. Now I'm going to walk you through my scenario design process. If you haven't been here before, basically this is what I do. If you want to learn more about my process, how I use it, and the framework underneath what I'm going to talk about today, because I'm going to go fairly high level for you, go to scenariodesignsecrets.com, and there I go into a full video about what the framework actually looks like for a scenario. But in the meantime, what I wanted to walk you through is the process for how to get that scenario from start to finish, as we say, soup to nuts, get that scenario going, okay? Are you ready? Awesome. All right. So if you have questions throughout, just pop them in the chat, and what I'll do is I'll get to them after I finish the video, and maybe, if possible, address them immediately. All right. So the scenario design process can actually be split up into 3 easy steps: plan, write, and direct. Now, this is a little more, there's a little more intensity to each of these steps, and that's exactly what I'll be going into right now. So, when you're planning your scenario, at this point, what I want you to consider is that the decision as to whether you're using training or using a scenario has already been done. You've already done the analysis. At this point, you're ready to deploy. You're ready to build, right? But one of the things you need to do is kind of set a compass for yourself. What's the vision for this project? What gets you excited about it? Why are you doing it? What is going to be some of those things that are going to help you justify it to, you know, when you're talking to other people saying, you know, I need your help, I need your input. What's that big North Star that you're aiming for, and that you can also use as impetus to bring other people along with you and be as excited to develop this as you are, right? So one of the things you really want to do, the first thing here, is called business alignment. I know that doesn't sound like a sexy name, but really it's a series of questions to make sure that you're ready for your project and that you're invested in it in the right way. Now, after you've got that down and you've talked to the right people to make sure that everything is solid for your way forward, what you want to do then is choose your framework for your scenario. And the reason you want to do this is because this is, as somebody's aptly said, a light at the end of the tunnel. You are not developing anything from a blank slate. You're actually working now already. You know it's going to be a scenario. So you're choosing the framework that's most closely going to help you deliver on the promise that you've set out to your stakeholders and to your learners as well, right? And so after you've got the framework chosen, then the powerful part, talking to a subject matter expert. Now, when I talk about subject matter expert, I'm really talking about somebody who is in the trenches, somebody who is in that role, somebody who's invested, somebody who's like frontline, knows what's going on. Like right now I'm talking to people who are like in the field. They are actually waking up and they're doing that job, and I'm stealing a little bit of their time for this interview to get the most contextual stories for them for my scenario. So that's who you want to be talking to, all right? Okay, so this is step 1. You're basically planning, you're gathering the raw materials, and you're doing that very systematically so that what you get at the end of this process is a really solid transcript of this. Now this transcript, the reason you want this to be very focused is because this transcript then becomes the fodder, the framework that you're going to use to create the outline for your scenario. All right? Now after you create the outline, which basically has these kind of punchy steps like the path that somebody's going to take through your scenario, then you draft the interactive outline. the difference between the outline and the interactive outline is that you, my friend, are developing a scenario, which most likely is going to have decision points, consequences, feedback, and all those things need to be thought of. So you can have a big picture outline for how that's going to work. Then you need to plan for where you're going to include those engagements for people. So that's the kind of things that we develop, right? And then from that, you're going to craft a script. Now, when I talk about a script, to be very specific here, you want to, if you even want to Google this, what you want to look at is a comic book script or a movie script. So there's going to be not only, what people are going to say or what information is going to be included, but also the description of the flow, of the scene, of specific details that are going to help somebody visualize that. So if at the end of, the step 2, the writing, let's say you're a movie writer, you're a script writer for movies, then if you hand that off to anybody who is let's say a director, they know exactly what your vision is, they know exactly what's included in the sequence that it comes in, and they basically have the gist of everything that needs to be included to make this a proper experience as you've imagined to meet your business goals, right? So you've got that script, then now direct. Whew, this is the fun part, right? You've done all this work, you've done all this finessing, it sounds right, it's doing all the right things. Now, what's next? Now we've got visual communication. That's what you have to decide. Ah! No! It's outside the lines. Okay, so for visual communication, you know what? This is actually quite cool. For visual communication, sometimes your platform can actually do that for you. You don't have to do any magic finessing or deciding how things are going to be laid out, because let's say you're, for example, using a software that already has the interface all laid out beautifully for you. Consider something like BranchTrack, right? Which is meant to simulate conversations. Not too much finessing there unless you want to do, swap out characters and colors. But otherwise, all that's decided for you and you can relax, and all you have to think about is just how do you get that in there as quickly as possible, right? So that's pretty sweet. And then, of course, the next part is building something awesome, prototype, for your learners to play with and experience and give feedback on, and also, is it working the right way? Is it working the way you imagined? If all of this is aligned the right way, you started out with a framework here, there's going to be no surprises in this process. This is very smooth, this is very systematic, and what's happening when you get to this, all you're doing is refining language and ideas, so everything is very smooth and it speaks to your target audience in the best way possible. So, I hope this was helpful. Now, if you want more of a breakdown about this specific framework that I use to set the tone here, go to scenariodesignsecrets.com, and there I show you the variety of projects that I've used with the same framework, which is wonderful for you, and also how the framework basically supports somebody starting and finishing in a very engaging way. All right, so thanks so much for joining and watching me here, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. Take care, friends. Bye.